Okay, so this is part two. Anyway, so in my previous vlog yesterday, I mentioned what was going on yesterday and the stuff that my boss said to me yesterday. So when I go to work this morning, I have to wait 25 minutes outside the front door again, and I'm not getting paid for it. And I saw him even saw me. He was inside, and I'm still waiting outside. And he finally comes to the door to let me in. Tell him thank you. I go to clock in. He said, sorry, I just noticed you. And I said, yeah, I've been waiting out there for like 25 minutes. And then he said some snide remark, and I said, well, you know, I mean, this has been happening for over a month. Maybe it's easier if you just give me a key so I can come in the door. Well, then he's kind of quiet for a little bit, and I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, of course. Hello, hello. Thank you for the thumbs up. And then all of a sudden he starts giving me some crap. And he's like, so, would it make it easier for you if I write everything down? Hey, what's going on, my friend? He says, so would it make it easier if I write everything down for you like a list of your chores to do? Now, bear in mind, this job, this guy never said anything about chores, moving furniture, all this other garbage, mopping floors, and all that. Oh, are they? And so all this stuff is like ridiculous for a month here at least. Not a month, maybe a month and a week, something. So and my hours have been squirrely, from like 2025, 2025, 2025. Finally, I get last week full-time hours and this week full-time hours, 40 hours. Okay. That's what I need. Before I was having to balance two jobs just to try to accommodate 40 hours some way, somehow. I'm still coming up short with two minimum wage jobs. So he starts this bull crap this morning. It's just me and him working because I'm the only worker. You see, it's a manager, an assistant manager, and me. That's all they got now. Other dude was transferred out like he was planned on before I started working there. And they just took him like a month to get it done. And the other girl is gone. And probably because she quit, because they would never fire her. You know, every day she played on that phone. Yeah, I don't know that he's ever managed before in his life because, and even the young girl, I mean, she really needs a lot of training. She needs supervision management classes. She needs to know something about, you know, retail clothing business and definitely about merchandising. She's just young, and I mean, she can learn a lot of this stuff online, just doing it, researching online and stuff. You can learn quite a bit because most all of it's like by the book, colorization, you know, garments by sleeve length, how to balance things visually when you're setting up end caps or whatever displays. And she doesn't know how to do any of this. She thinks she does. She has no clue. It's like we have some Jeep clothes, and she went and put this shirt, a tourist shirt, on this mannequin that's at the Jeep clothes section that doesn't even belong with Jeep. I saw that this morning. I'm like, what the hell is that? Why on earth are you putting a tourist shirt next to, you know, all the Jeep clothes. You would take one of the Jeep items and put it on there and accessorize it with Jeep items. We have plenty. So, anyway, uh, so I mean, and I hate redoing any of the displays and everything because they change it back and all that, and it's like an insult to me because I know what I'm doing. I know how to do colorization. I know how to set up a display, and it's beautiful. And I just, I'm tired of doing them, and that's what I was told for my job. The my my when I went to go see him in person, we talked for 2.5 hours, something like that, all over the store. And I said, he says, "Can you do end caps?" I said, "Yes." "Can you do displays?" "Yes." I said, "I can even dress store windows." And of course, he knows it because, yeah. Did they ever give you the key? No. Are you kidding? I mentioned that this morning when he picked on me because I don't like to fight with anybody, and I usually just hold my breath. I'll look at him because it's better I don't open my mouth. Because if I do, I'm going to end up saying, "What makes you think you're a manager?" Because you're very unprofessional and what you're doing is illegal, amongst other things. You're very abusive. Um, I mean, for me to want to cry all day long yesterday, that's how I felt. I was trying to hold it in all day. Again, today, the same day. It's like going to somebody's funeral. It was just so painful to try to work and be nice and yes, sir, no, sir, and do what he says and all that, even when he's picking on me. So then he goes to this big rant rage, like yelling at me from 7 foot away. And there's customers coming in and out of the door, and most of them are really elderly. Oh my gosh, this woman about 80 years old and what looked like her husband start to come in the door and they're hearing him yelling at me and they step about 6 foot in and they can barely walk and they start walking right back out. That's not appropriate. You never handle a discussion like that loud. You don't handle it in front of customers or coworkers ever. So, being I have no other coworkers at this time, and that's another good story today. Some other more crap I found out. Yeah. Oh yeah, right by the front door at the entry. At the desk. Oh yeah. And 7 foot away. I was busy putting stuff away, doing what I'm supposed to do, the stuff that I know how to do. And I'm sitting there waiting on what's the next freaking, janitorial job I have to do. I've never had to do these things in clothing. And I've worked for high end clothing in Beverly Hills, everything. I never, ever cleaned a toilet, moved furniture, nothing. Yeah. So he's going on and he's like changing his tone today. And I can't wait to start digging in that computer and trying to see what other crap he did to the damn schedule. And because, see, that system manager had sent me that text message that one day that I had 3 days off. She said, "He's been trying to send it to you. He's been trying to send it to you. But I know you have these 3 days off." And I'm like, 3 days and I still have 40 hours for the week? And she waits a second and she gets back on there and she says, "No, like 20 or 25." And I was like, "Oh, hell no." And, uh, and I said, "Why?" And she answers back by text, "Well, we're just not, we're not selling enough to have to give out more hours." So all that was pretty much a lie. Or he changed his mind after she sent me those messages because she was standing right next to him because they're the only ones working that day. Nobody else was working but them. So open to close, and a big story about how my schedule was not ready yet, not ready yet, not ready yet, was because he had sent me a message when I asked him if the schedule was ready yet. He sent me a message that said, I'm waiting on her days off. They're working right next to each other. Really? God. So, anyway, today he was really a super jerk, like yelling at me from 7 foot away, and he's throwing a hissy fit, and I'm just standing here trying to stay cool and try not to cry because, I had enough from the day before. I wasn't in for any more of his bull crap because it was very mean the day before. I mean, basically threatening me and my job, period. And that was wrong. So he starts telling me, he says, well, uh, you know, I, I, I just don't know. It's like, do you really want to work for this company? You know, and be in the housing and all that. And I just kind of looked at him. Now, I was honest with this guy when I was hired. My other jobs, I don't tell him I'm homeless in my car because I don't want him feeling sorry for me and any of the crap because I'm dollars and dollars away from having deposit money and everything else to try to rent something. And I probably won't stay here anyway. Okay? For a few reasons. So, I mean, would you not think it was kind of obvious that I really didn't want to be boondocking in my car and sometimes not get to take baths because I have to be to work early in the morning or the weather's too cold and I can't go take a shower? There's no possible way. In 21-degree weather, 30-degree weather, 40-degree weather, whatever. I did in 50-degree weather the other day and I thought I was going to be sick and die because I got so sick because my hair was still damp. I didn't get it quite dry and I'm going to work and I'm like, oh man, I'll be so sick. And thank God I survived that. I ended up with a light cold, but you know, I wanted to take a bath. So I had to drive across 2 towns and to go take a bath and then drive back and the traffic and the time and everything, it's like I gotta be up like 5 in the morning to be able to go to work. So anyway, so yeah, he starts ranting and raving and he asked me that question and I just looked at him. Because I'm not a good liar. So, I can't tell him, oh yeah, I'm really digging this company. Because I don't at this point. After the way he's treated me the last 2 days and the way I've been treated for like a month, I mean, it's like I'm the moving company and maid service. Man, freaking hire somebody to do that crap. Because, that place was a toilet bowl, dirty damn dump when I started there, and I was shocked at all the stuff that I found, from merchandise in the floors, under stock and stuff. That who knows how many years it's been there, you know? That stuff's inventoried. It makes people look like there's theft in the store. People get fired over that. I've seen entire stores cleared out, management all the way down, when they've got too much stuff missing. And there's so much stuff. I moved a small rack. It was kind of heavy, but it had rollers, and I moved it like 5 inches. And you would never believe all the muck and junk under there and brand new merchandise. And that little assistant manager girl was there, and I brought it up to the counter, all covered in goog. And I counted it out right in front of her with the price tags on it. I said, there's $140 laying in the floor of merchandise. And she was like, oh. cleaned it all up, wiped it down, put it on the shelves. Three of the pieces sold in one day. Merchandise that who knows how long it's been under there. All this has happened before me. I just come in there and the place is dirty. Nobody asked me to sweep or mop. And the first things I'm doing when I start pulling walls of clothes down and stuff, oh mother of God, when I get the last rows down by the floor, it's just full of merchandise, all kinds of different merchandise down there. And filthy, dirty, it looks like the cat fur balls, when the cat coughs up its fur. That's what it looks like. All over tons. It's gooey and sticky, stuck to my shoes. It's in my car even. Every day I work there, this crap is in my car. Every day. They got boxes and boxes stuffed under tables and on the main floor and stuff. And oh, mother of God. It just looks so trashy. And so, they don't even ask me. In the first week I worked there, I start tearing the store apart and organizing by sleeve length, color, and the product and all that. And he was even there for one of the days. And I said, it's okay. I'm going to put all these together the way they belong, because all these units belong in the same section. And it was all cat, dog merchandise, and clothing. And he's like, yeah, it's okay, as long as she approves of it. If she's okay with it. Well, she doesn't even know nothing. And here I am. I'm the one that appears to have all the education, apparently, and knowledge and hands-on skill. And I don't think these people have any of it. Honestly, really, I don't. I mean, again, I'm overeducated, but when it comes to the, mercantile industry, especially retail, I am the queen of retail. Trust me. Done it since I was like 15 and a half, okay? So, I was just shocked. And, my coworkers that worked there, they would just stand around the cash register. And I worked my butt off and wait on customers, selling stuff, See, I never was trained on the cash register, so I spent a long time not doing any cash register because they never gave me a check number, and nobody would teach me. And if nobody on the floor will teach you, the management needs to teach you. That's their job. When you hire somebody, you're supposed to show them how to do the job. But no, nobody wants to show me. They have like better things to do. And then, my managers were leaving like at noon and 2. Oh, see you. I'd never seen anything more weird in my life. So anyway, I really busted by it. And it was so bad because when I was trying to get something done, pulling down shirts, hundreds of them in a shift, and then get to the floor and it's just trash. And I've got to, sweep all this garbage up, and I've got to sort it out for what is merchandise that needs to be back on the shelves, and, from jewelry to all kinds of stuff. And sort it out of all that, dirt and trash and everything else. And then, of course, I've got to clean it, and the mop looks like it hadn't been used in the last 8 years. And that was a joke, too. And so I go and get the mop, and they really don't have any cleaner there, or even dish soap, something. So I'm trying to mop this stuff up, and it's foul, and it was everywhere. You should have seen. I must have pulled down 500 pairs of shoes off a wall, and you could not believe all the garbage that was up under there, and all the merchandise. You would never believe it. Hundreds of dollars of stuff. You know? And so, don't think they don't know about it, because every time I was like laying it up on the desk, all dirty and everything. Look at this. I recovered, several $1,000s in merchandise that's been hiding in the dirt in the floors, back against the walls, because nobody cares. I mean, I looked at my one coworker, the one guy that was working there, and I'm like, man, this is the dirtiest store I have ever seen. I said, this is unreal that this store is not clean. And he's like, yeah, well, they don't do nothing. And they don't care. And I mean, I suppose they don't. I mean, they're busting butt now because, they're coming in to do an inventory. I thought it was this week, but I guess it's next week. And they send a crew down from corporate to do the inventory, like 4 or 5 people or something like that. And they go through the store for like 4 days, and it's supposedly at closing or something. Um, and I'm going to tell you what, he is so overly paranoid about that store being clean. It's like every single day, all the displays have to be wiped off. Like he was doing the windows. The mall does the windows. Okay, the mall does the windows. All he has to do is call and say, hi, could you guys stop by and do my windows? We've only had like one hurricane storm in the past 2 weeks. You know, so yeah, he was really a jerk face today, and I didn't answer him when he said that to me, yelling at me, because I just didn't want to talk. I did not want to answer because honestly, no, I don't. No, you know, especially the way I've been treated. So, thank you for the 2 thumbs up, you guys. I appreciate it. So, then he keeps ranting and raving, giving me a bunch of hell. Yeah, they're scrambling so they can make their store look good, but you're right. They're lazy, don't want to do their job. Yeah, and these are managers. I mean, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. You know what I mean? If you really care, we don't have any crew. All we got is me. And I don't work every day. You know? So, I mean, if it was my store, I would be trying to do whatever I could. But my store would never look like that. My store would not be a poo-poo hole like that. The entire store is like, do you know we have 2 swamp coolers over the doors? Okay? Those real high power ones that shoot down over the door. You can't believe the first week I worked, I looked up there and I went, what the heck? And it was hot in there, man. And you can't believe they leave the doors open and they run the heat in there. Oh God. So these swamp coolers that will continuously run if you turn it on, that are right over the door, they have at least 1 inch thick of that goo that's in the floor, like the cat fur balls. 1 inch thick is gray goo. And so what it is a combination of cotton and poly. And poly goes bad. It turns gooey. So it sticks together. So this stuff is like 1 inch thick over all of the venting on this unit, which that unit right there is probably $1,300 just for that unit that goes over the top of the door. And it's like so it's like what, 4 foot wide, and then like 6 by 6 or something like that, unit, or 1 foot by 1 foot maybe. Mother of God, all the venting was blocked. I'm like, these idiots are gonna burn this stuff up because nobody cares to clean it. So I took a broom and started brushing that crap off, one day. The next day it still looked pretty bad. And remember, you're only getting the stuff that's on the outside. There's also venting that comes out from the inside that drops through the bottom over the sill of the door. and that needs to be cleaned. Because you're breathing that stuff can make you really sick. It's just like in a house, you need to change your filter and your AC. Like minimum, minimum like 3 months. Um, I used to change mine every month. Yeah, yeah, every month. I'd buy a whole pack of filters, change it every month. And so I did both those units one day with like a broom because it's really high up there, and I am not really game. They have one giant, really heavy electrician's ladder, and I don't. I've had to use that one time, and I don't want to because I had to cut some stuff out of the ceiling, and I really don't want to do that anymore. Um, and then um, we have little step stools, and they're just not even tall enough. So the next shift I work, I get the mop. As the units are off, so hopefully I don't get electrocuted. And I take the mop with some disinfectant that I brought to work, sprayed all over that mop, and went all over those units. So now there's holes there for sure to breathe through. We had to use the units the next day, and I'm going to tell you what a difference. And he noticed it today. It's been weeks. I said, yeah, I cleaned all that. It says 1 inch thick with all that goog. And he was like, oh, really? And he said, yeah, I was trying to figure out, now this guy's been there probably, well, since the pandemic. That's how long apparently he's been there, I found out today. But yeah, so why has he not cleaned those? Really? He's like, I didn't know, what to do. And I told him what I did. That was weeks ago. He goes, well, I wasn't quite sure, how to clean that. I guess this guy is just not mechanically inclined. I had a boyfriend like that. It was a CPA and city treasurer, and that joker, he couldn't turn a wrench for his life, but he could use a pencil real well. And there's some people who are like that. He didn't even check the oil in his freaking car. He took it to the dealer to do oil changes. And I'm like, are you kidding me? You don't even check your oil? Oh my God. I know girls that can check the oil in their car. Please. Just drive it. Just drive it, Please. Man. I mean, you'd be calling me paranoid because I'm looking in my engine like every week and under my car, okay? To make sure stuff's not leaking or doing anything weird. I'm just a freak over my cars. I want to catch it before it gets worse. That's from driving Lincolns. I mean, if you start having transmission problems, if flipping doors fall off, the muffler starts dragging and stuff. And Lincolns are terrible like that. Sadly, I'm not mechanically skilled. There are some people that don't even care about it. But if you don't know or can't know, oh yeah, I could check my oil level though. Yay! If you can't do it or just don't know how to do it, ask somebody, research it, or pay somebody to do it. It's real easy. That's bottom line. Um, there's just some people that are not interested. Like I can turn a wrench on a car all day long. I love cars as a hobby, not for a job, as a hobby. I can paint them. I can do body work. Um, I've dropped transmissions. I've pulled axles. I've done all kinds of stuff. Um, but I'm a hobbyist. I could just play with cars all day long. If I had my choice, I'd have a big hangar the size to hold Howard Hughes' Spruce Goose, and I'd have it lined with cars of my own that I would just play with and do stuff too. I just love them. And so Anyway, he's like, yeah, and we were standing there, and he's like, yeah, you know, and this is after he's ranting and raving for like, 30 minutes this morning, beginning with. He's like, yeah, I was trying to figure out how I would, open those up. And I said, well, it probably unbolts and it's probably a cover on that face. I mean, they had to put it together somehow. It didn't come out all in one piece, I promise you. Because they had to put the motors in there and all that other stuff. But I said, I imagined that the outer cover that we're looking at comes off. If not, it has to be removed from the wall and the back plate comes off. That could be a little more technical. But then again, you could still take something, you could take a bottle brush and put up those vents that come from, over the door sill that shoot the air down. And you could take a bottle brush and pull some more of that you can look right up in there, and it had a bunch of that stuff inside. And if you don't keep stuff like that clean, it's just like refrigerators. You don't pull that refrigerator out from that wall, especially if you have pets, and don't take the vacuum to it. You unplug it, pull it out from the wall, and you lay down on that floor, and you take a vacuum to it, and you go up in there real carefully and start vacuuming all that stuff out. Because what happens is it gets up into the motor and stuff, and it will kill your refrigerator. And you'll be shocked when you see it, especially if you have animals. You'll go, oh my gosh. And that's why I end up buying new refrigerators, because you folks don't vacuum that crap. It's just like bars. All those coolers have vents underneath to cool those uh, motors in them. They have fans and stuff. And when all that lint and dust gets built up at the bottom of those coolers down by the floor, when those get covered up, it burns the unit up. That's why they stop cooling. Because those fans and motors, they can't breathe. It's not, they have to have some kind of cooling around them to operate. They don't do well in hot areas. That's why you don't see like beer coolers outside, stuff like that, because they've got to be in a building, a house, an apartment, a building, because they just can't take heat. But yeah. Uh, so anyway, he is giving me hell, yelling at me. I'm just kind of standing there. And he's going, well, I'm just trying to figure out what to do, you know, if you want to stay. Now, see, I never told him I was leaving or anything like that. He told me yesterday, basically, that I was leaving. Because I noticed how he was jacking with the schedule, that he never likes to make in advance. He's working on a 1 month ahead schedule. Well, there's a first. Somebody must have called from corporate about that crap. Because I don't think I've ever worked any job where they made a schedule a month in advance. Damn. But, yeah, so, he had me on, like, the third week. My name was not even on the schedule on the third week, but there was other people on there. Yeah. So, and wait till I tell you about the schedule today. So, anyway, he said he had to go do an errand. Well, maybe he's lying, maybe he did. I don't care. Might have been hanging around to watch me. I don't care. I popped that computer up. Boom. Clicked around till I could find the scheduling. Open that devil up and hit Xerox. I didn't want to look at it, just hit Xerox. I'd check it later. Got it, folded it up, put it away. I'll look at it later. Yeah, and that's another story. But anyway, so he was a jerk. He was such a jerk today. I just could not believe the crap coming out of his mouth. So unprofessional, so insulting. He said, we don't have to sell anybody here. So, you don't have to talk to the customers. It's not necessary. We have things to do. We have chores to do here. And it's like, um, and also I didn't sign up for that. I didn't sign up for a job with chores, honestly. But I didn't tell him that. I'm just standing there listening to him carry on like an idiot with customers coming in and out. And literally like they're hearing him yelling and they're like walking back out the door. And so and he even sees him doing it and he's still carrying on. When he turned his head around, I was like, I can't believe he's still running his mouth full bore. Okay. And now this is not some 30-year-old dude. This is a freaking guy that's probably about 45 years old. So, you should be grown up enough to know how to act in public, even if you don't know how to be a manager. But yeah, but no. So he's going on with this rant and rave. And, I said, well, again, the biggest problem is I can't be to work on time because I got to wait. So why not just give me a key? Oh, no, I don't know about that. I just don't know about doing all that. So, well, that's what you offered me. You went from worker to some other thing to third key manager. Would you be interested? I'm like, what kind of money we talking? Which is pennies on the dollar. I can work down the street at any other job doing a dumb job for $14 an hour that he wants to pay for a third key manager. And I don't have to be a third key manager. I can just work a dumb job. You know. So it's not impressing me. You know what I mean? If I could work at Spirit Halloween for almost $20 an hour as a manager, and I never had to do my manager duties, I didn't even check people out because they never gave me a checker number or taught me how to use register. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah. I was hostess at Crab Trap, making almost $16 an hour. Working with 5 other hostesses in a shift. Yes. Yep. Never had to use a cash register because we didn't do that. All we did was seat people. That's all we did. Yep. So, he kept going on and on. And then he said, and all this talk with customers and stuff. And he's like the other day, for example, you interject stuff. And he said, I was checking those customers out. Now he'll carry on for 30 minutes or an hour with these customers, and I have to stand there and wait to ask him a question. And other customers have to stand around because he'll carry on about, oh yeah, I worked in New York, and I worked in security and friggin' theft prevention for Target stores and da da da. That's here nor there. He told me he was a store manager. He told me that. He was a store manager and he wore a suit every day. And he's so happy to be able to dress the way he does today. In his thongs, shorts, tank top, baseball cap. Yeah. And carries a backpack. I swear to God. But he these customers carry on, they'll say something and it'll spike my attention because I'm standing right there like 2 feet from them at the register. And I'll say, oh yeah, I heard of them, or yes, that's true, or wow. And so I guess he's pissed off because I made a comment. He's like, yeah, people don't want to hear you. And all that talk's unnecessary. And I said real calm, I said, so you're telling me that we're not supposed to talk to the customer, we're not supposed to be nice to them, and which 90% of our customers are tourists. and they love to visit and talk and ask questions and all that. And he, I said, and you spend 30 minutes to an hour with a customer talking about New York or whatever, or Target or something. And he was just kind of looked at me. Well, it's true. My daddy used to say stuff when I was a kid. Don't do as I say, do as I do, or do it. Don't do as I do as I say. It sounds like that. Um, but yeah, he was just vicious this morning, insulting me, like telling me that my word is just worthless, and he even said to the point, you know, uh, even when you talk to me, I don't care. Okay, I just don't care. And I was like, whoa. I mean, stuff like my ex-husband used to talk crap. The one to try to make you cry, to try to, make you feel like everybody hates you and all that kind of crap. And I was just so upset all day long. I just, it was so hard to keep the tears back, trying to do my job and be nice to customers and smile and all that. And he had chore lists that you could not believe. Clean the toilet, clean the whole bathroom, empty all the trash, all in the store, the office, at the registers. Um, uh, thank God no sweeping and mopping today. And then all those stupid boxes, you know, that are under the tables and all that crap. Hangers and everything else. Stuff that needs to go to storage. God, we had 8 freaking boxes of hangers that need to go to storage. So he took out 3 this morning. Big wow. And what about all the empty displays sitting all over the place, too, that need to go? Dear God. If you're worried about it being clean for an inventory, people, pick it up. God, dog. Turns out I found out there's 3 storages for that business. So to me, it's like take that crap and put it away. It sits there for weeks and weeks and weeks. And it's like, we're tripping over it. Customers are falling over it, running into it. It's dogging up the look of the store. Get this stuff out of there. If we're not using the freaking display, get it out. You got like 6 different displays laying around, empty, on the floors, stacked over here, shoved under tables. I mean, you can see all that stuff, you know. But boxes and boxes and boxes of retail stock, you know. It doesn't even need to be there. It needs to be back in storage. Because they have a way to pull it up on the computer where they can see what storage it's in, how many there are, and they go over there and they get it. Like they do about every day. But God, it's just ridiculous. You open a box and there'll be 200 t-shirts in there. You open another box and there's, 40 sweaters in there. And I mean, just open another box and there's about 600 baseball caps in there. I mean, there's just all this boxes of crap, And he's like, okay, so I need you to go through all those boxes under those tables again and try to get some stuff put away. And it's like, the store is full. I mean, you can only stack shirts so high. And when you stack shirts so high, when people walk by them and just touch them, all that crap falls over and it hits the floor and everything else. And it's a bunch of work. All that stuff needs to be in racks to begin with. And I've told him that before too. He said something, and I told him, well, if it were me, I would just start putting them on racks. Well, they'll never fit on racks. I said, they absolutely will. I can take 2 tables right there and put on a standard rack, no problem, and shorten up that area, into a 6-foot long rack. Right there, boom. Instead of taking up, 14 feet by 6 foot. That's a promise. And you can mop and clean, and you can move the racks around, and the customer can see the front and back of the item. Because that's why they pick them up and look at them. Because they want to see the front and the back. You know? And our customers are basically like 5 to 15 minute customers. They come in there, they know what they would like, they pick up a bunch of stuff, they throw it up on the counter, and we check them out. It's boom. So it's not hard. Sales pitch is not hard. I had one lady that I sales pitched her so bad, she was buying everything I showed her in the store, and she had this pile. It was like $700 of stuff. I was working with my assistant manager, the young girl, and finally I went outside. I went outside the door to take a break because I'm like, I just can't sell this woman anymore. She loves everything I show her, and I just can't do anymore. It's just, no, I'm not doing it. And so I took my break, come back in, and she was getting ready to check out, and she was still deciding around, and I just was like, I didn't want to sell her anymore because she just loved everything I showed her. And, to me, it's like enough is enough. you know, what I mean? you know. Uh, so anyway, you know, the people are very easy to sell, and 90% of them are tourists. Um, and a majority of them are older people, and like I'm talking 70 plus, and former military and stuff, and they're very nice. Um, and you can tell when somebody's standing around looking at a certain section, you can tell they're looking for something in particular. And so, I'll walk in and say, do you have any questions? And they'll always have a question. Do you have that in red? Or, I really like that. But I was looking for actually a pair of shoes when I came in here. And I take them right to the shoe section, you know. I mean, it's not hard to do. You don't have to be the bad car salesman. Just be gentle with it. And if they like visiting with you and talking to you, you can have them all over the store and they're picking up all kinds of merchandise. Because you go, oh yeah, I got that over here and I got that over here. You know, and it's not hard to do. So I sell a lot. I sell, because I'm good at it. But this guy just figures the store will run itself, I guess. And I mean, he told me that when I first talked to him. He was like, you know, you really don't have to sell here because people just buy it. Well, to me, if it's my store, I'm gonna be selling because you get rewarded for in quotas and stuff and per diems by corporate. You know, your sales need to be so much. You know, and that particular store is the key store of the entire fleet. Actually, they really like that store because it can, pull a lot of revenue, way over the other stores. So, I'm here. We can make double the revenue. Um, because I know how to sell. And I try to learn stuff every day about the products that we sell. I read stuff and I research stuff on my off time about these products, and so I have more to say about it. You know, and what's really funny, we sell a lot of Shark Tank products. Yeah, stuff that I knew was Shark Tank stuff before I ever worked there. So that's always a good talkative thing, with the customers. Oh, by the way, did you know this was on Shark Tank? Hey, now you got their attention. They're like, really? But yeah, he was so vicious today, so mean, and I was like, how rude. But yes, I did put in 2 calls to corporate on Saturday, and I imagine they'll call me back on Monday. But I'm not happy still. But he was trying to be real nice this afternoon. Um, And then he wanted me to drag all that crap in at closing. He didn't even want to help. And guess what? I hurt my flipping back twice tonight trying to move that garbage in. From climbing up on the ladder to try to get that tall stuff, that's what finished me off. When I reached up there, that was the end. And I was just like, screw it. He was just in there standing at the counter. He'd already counted everything down and all that crap. Everything was closed. You know, we had two guys in the store that I thought were customers, which I don't think they were. Um, and some girl that came in, 15 minutes before we were supposed to close and started pulling a bunch of shirts down and all that. I'm like, that must be that girl he was talking about. That was going to come in and do this whole wall of shirts. He said that days ago. And he was like, yeah, the same whole wall I did, weeks ago. I wonder what she's going to do this time. Because they don't care about what I do to it. It's just when I think it's another one of those how to impress the corporate when the inventory people come. I mean, it's every day. It's like they're coming in an hour or something, And it's stupidity. Why didn't they clean it before I got there, man? It was a dirty pig pen place. I spent so much time cleaning and mopping without even being asked. I did so much work, And then it's like my everyday job. Oh, you need to sweep the whole store today, 4,900 square foot, and mop it. Do this, do that. And then he said some crap today, and I said, look, he's like, well, you just don't follow through. I said, yeah, I usually do. I said, but the other day, your assistant manager came up to me in the morning and said, okay, I want you to sweep and mop the entire store. And I started doing it, and after about 2 hours in, she came over, and then she said, okay, now I want you to wipe all the displays down. And so I did. But of course, the sweeping and mopping did not get finished. So there's no following through. I was given orders by management to do something else. And guess what? When I was still doing that, I was asked to do something else. And it's like, I'm feeling slavery here. Slavery. This is not what I signed up for. Not at all. It's just like a good friend of mine that works at Walmart. I was talking to her tonight and I cried. And she says, he needs a man for moving all that furniture stuff around. Rule 1. And she said, why on earth are you sweeping and mopping a retail store? And I said, I don't know. I said, they asked me to do it every day I come in for the last 2 weeks. And it takes hours. It usually takes one whole day just to sweep the store down. And then the next day, I have to mop it. That's how long it takes. And still work. And see, now I run the register with somebody else's code, my assistant manager's code, because still can't get a key. And they still haven't taught me anything. And watch this. Today, the flipping cash register dumped again. It does that. About once a week, that sucker will flip out. And I am right there. He has left. Okay? He has left me alone. And I am there. And I don't have any way to get a hold of him or anything. Okay? Because I don't know numbers, phone numbers, anything, I knew basically where he was at. I could have walked over there, but I had to have left the store alone. And again, I don't have keys to lock it up. And so that entire register collapses. And there's this elderly lady that's got like $100 worth of merchandise in her hand walking around the store, and I know she's going to hit that register shortly, right? And I'm trying to be cool. Maybe he'll show back up, pretty quick. And no, guess what? The register self-destructs. It just flashes, boom, the whole program stops. I'm like, oh. Now here's the next problem. I can't sign into the program. Just restart the cash register program on that cash register. Okay, it's NCR and it's a special program. It's so I'm like, what the hell? And I can't figure out if it went offline or what happened to it. So you'll never believe what I did. I went and one day we had trouble with the storms. Okay, when like the first week I worked there. Yeah, it has a separate login. You have to have it administrator login to get it to start back up. I don't have that. It's a bunch of code numbers. So the first week I worked there, that register dumped like that. It just flashed and dumped. It just the program just shuts down and it goes to a regular like a computer screen. It's really weird, and it just turns itself off, kind of thing. And you go, what happened? You're just seeing like the desktop plan, and so um, they were making it, mousing around with it and everything. And it turned out there was no internet. The internet is for that store. It's their own internet. They're not bouncing off anything else like mall internet or anything. They have their own. The internet croaked because of the storm. So I was like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? And because they use internet for the register, because what it does is it sends the information to main office and you can look up, what everybody's sales are at every single store. You can go to this graph thing and open it up and you can see the sales from the other computer that's not a cash register, and you can see all the sales for every store just looking at it right there, boom. And it changes by the second in front of your eyes. And it's like reading the stocks. It's like wool. And so I'm like, crap. And see, it talks to corporate, it talks to the banks when we're running credit cards, it does all that stuff. So, and we do have a landline, so they may have an alternative thing for the credit card reader that, when the internet, jumps it, maybe it goes through the landline when it fails. And maybe like an automatic thing. So check this out. It's so funny. So I go and I said, they did this thing one time, and I was asking them, well, how you even using the register? And we were looking at the figures on the store, the sales figures on the store and the other 30 stores. And I said, well, the assistant manager girl says, well, it just hasn't moved. And I know we've done sales. And I said, well, because there's no internet for the cash register, so it's not sending the information. Okay? And so they have this other mode where you can run the cash register in offline. And she's like, yeah, the cash register is running. It's in offline. And I said, well, what is that? And she goes, well, we can go in this other thing and it'll run offline whether we have internet or not. And I'm like, oh, so it'll update once it goes back up and incorporate it together, right? And she goes, I guess. I said, oh, that's interesting. So what did I do? I found the icon that has the offline register by pure accident, clicked on that bad boy, and prayed to God to be able to open it. And you know what opened? And it did not ask me for that code. I could key in with that all those other code number and password that belongs to the assistant manager that I've been using. I saved that paper. Yeah. Because otherwise he'd be calling me stupid again that I don't have a checker code when he's the one who's supposed to be calling corporate and do it. It has to be management does it. And then I have to set my own password. I don't know why these people can't get their act together. But yeah, so anyway, so I open up the online mode and I'm running. I get the register up and running. It takes like 20 minutes to get it restarted again. The older lady that had that $100 worth of merchandise is standing there when that thing collapsed. And I didn't say nothing. I was just waiting to try to see if it was going to come back up or what it was going to do. And I didn't have codes to get into it. When I saw that security code to get that main one up, I had no code, and I knew because I'd seen them where they've entered it in, and it's like they typed like 40 things in there. I don't know what it is because they won't show me or tell me. So, and that may be a management thing. I may not have access to that as just a standard checker. I don't know, but they never teach you anything. God. So anyway, that lady's standing there, and it's like taking forever because sucker's like Windows 5 to begin with. I'm not kidding. All right. And so it really takes forever. Plus, I got magnets all around the damn registers and computers, and they wonder why they're slow. And I said, well, when they totally crash, you'll know. You got entirely too many magnets around them. They need to be gone. And they're like, oh. I said, watch. I said, that's why they run so bad. And one day they're just going to crash. And they're not going to start back up. Magnets erases hard drives. It really screws computers up. Windows 3, God, it may be 3. I mean, it's really old. I'm thinking 5, but it is flipping old. And I was telling him about it one day when we were in there. I said, yeah, you got about Windows 5 in there, eh? And he said, no, we don't. And I said, it's archaic. And oh yeah. And he says, no, and he said, I can find out right here. And he went to go look on there or something, and he pulled it up, and when he named it, it was so freaking old. It was like Windows Millennium or some crap, you know. I mean, we're talking like 1998 to 2001. You know what I mean? That's really old. And it was some really archaic system. I could not believe it. And I said, you know, they can't afford with all the money they're making. Yeah, my favorite was XP Pro. That's my absolute favorite. Oh my God, I love that. But yeah, so uh, I think the thing he hates the most is because I know more than him. I just do. I just do, and that may just really alienate the piss out of him. Um, and I mean, you know, the best thing to do if you don't know something, learn from it. You know, that's how I learn. Don't think I don't ask questions or read books. And I missed that comment, darn it. It just I hate the way YouTube does because the comments come up for about all of 3 seconds, and then they fade out, so you can't see them. Um, when you're on a computer, it doesn't do that, but if you're on a phone, it does that. It just hides. There it goes. Okay. They need to have an IT person in there to upgrade their networking systems. Yeah, absolutely. That's 5,000 a month. That's 5K a month for somebody to handle all your systems from one place, and sometimes go to service them in other places. But they can usually handle it from one place. Yep, yep. I dated a guy that did that for a living, for big corporate. Yep. But but yeah. So you'll never believe I had that sucker running offline. So guess what happens when it's offline? Nothing is going to corporate. And guess what they think? Hire someone at corporate to see it. You know, oh yeah. Yeah. So guess what they'll be thinking? They'll be thinking that he's closed the store or it burned down because there's no report coming from that register all the way till closing. from like 11 o'clock this morning. Swear to God. I never told him. Screw him. I never told him. And if he'd have asked me, I'd have had to lie to his face. And if he'd have said, Did you know that this is offline? It's running offline? I'd be going, man, I don't know. You guys don't teach me anything on that computer. You know? Yeah. I tried to clean and fix a computer the other day, but they've got it locked out. It has to have administrative pass to get in, to even defrag it. I was like, this is some bullcrap. You know, if they'd take care of this poor computer and get all these magnets away from it. But, oh yeah, there's probably, God, there's at least 100 magnets all around that register in a computer. Okay? No, there's actually about 200. I just thought about that. Because they got refrigerator magnets on the outside of that counter, and there's a whole bunch of them stacked on a piece of metal on the outside of that counter, too. That's not but 3 foot away from the register alone, and the other computer sits right next to it. So I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you. And let's not even talk about the cooler on the counter for bottled water that has 2 Merry Christmas postcard magnets stuck on it, which is 2 foot from the computer tower. Oh yeah, that's not all. They got you know those Bluetooth little speaker things? God, my daughter must have had 12 of those suckers. And about 40, what do you call them, earbud things? These sticking ears, you look like you're a hearing aid person. Oh, yeah. Got a bunch of those. Speakers have magnets in them. Not to mention the dual sets that have magnets on the back. So you can stick it on, like, one on the refrigerator and one on the stove. And have stereophonic. That's right. Magnets, magnets, and magnets. It was like, oh my gosh. But yeah. So that register run offline all day to closing, and he probably didn't notice until closing, or maybe he did not notice at all. That's right. And it even has little red letters down in the bottom left corner. Little tiny red letters that say offline. It looks like the same register screen, and it says offline. So guess what happens? Corporate's not getting any money sent to them. The graph is not reading for the store. It's staying still from the last time it checked somebody out. It never moves for the whole afternoon to closing. So looks we have absolutely no sales like after 11 in the morning. It's just dead. And all the other stores beat us because it's not uploaded. It probably won't go up till tomorrow when they open the store and turn the register on and enter their stuff in there that you got to have to get that program up. Boy, I bet he is just running in circles. I had to laugh. I didn't want to tell him. I thought, I should tell him. No, I should tell him. No, I shouldn't tell him. Yeah, I should tell him. No, I should. He was so freaking mean. I thought it better for him to suffer. I'll just play stupid. So if he so dared to ask me, I'll go, I don't know. You guys don't teach me anything on the register. Even when I ask, can somebody show me how to do like a return? Every day I do that. Can somebody show me how to do like a return? We'll get 3 people bring stuff in to return. You know what they do? Turn around and they return it. Or they throw it over in the corner. I'll do it later. They stack them all up like pancakes. But they never take the time to show me how to do a return. Never. They never take the time to show me how to look up our inventory to see if we have any in stock. Okay, which I really need. Not so much for a customer that's standing there because I can't go pick this stuff up. But it'd be nice if I could tell them, we do have it in stock, but if you check back tomorrow, my manager could source it for you. But no, it's like I got that call the other day from another store way out at Nag's Head, and that person, had a customer standing right there that wanted that product, and she said, I can have it transferred. What they do, what they call inter-store transfers. I've been doing that for years. If you have a whole bunch of stores, then, if you don't have the item or whatever, then you charge the customer for it, and with all the other stuff they're buying, and then it's shipped, okay, from one store to the next to UPS, like overnight. And then the customer is called and they say, oh, we have your, pink top that you wanted. And the customer's just thrilled to bits. It's like Christmas. And I said, I'll be down there in an hour, or I'll be down there tomorrow, or whatever. And they come in and they get their little thing and they're just thrilled to bits. And it's already paid for, you know. And they don't have to pay to have it shipped or anything. It's the company writes that off. They do it on their discount shipping that they use for commercial shipping. So it's a really nice thing if it's a real, odd item especially. And and the customer really wants it and they have money in their pocket to give you, it's ideal. Because you say, okay, I've located it at this store and we should have it here in 2 days. No problem. They go, great, I'll pay you right now. And they just come down and pick it up. So it's a real nice service. They did that back when I first started selling clothes. We always called other stores if we didn't have it. And you were on the phone if you had to call 5, 6 stores till you found that devil. Because we didn't have a way to look it up on the computer to see who had it. You just called other stores. And you said, hey, do you guys have, this jacket in brown in a women's size small? And they would go look. They'd lay the phone down and they'd go over and look. And they'd either say no or yes. And if they said yes, they immediately had to take your store number down, your name, customer's name, and the receipt number, and pin it on the jacket and put it, in the back so that it could be ready for, UPS to come pick it up. Or if they used another delivery system of their own or something. And it's usually like UPS would come get it. And that's how it's done. It'd be shipped right out the next morning when we open. UPS is waiting to get that. So, yeah. But, yeah, that girl called the other day and I couldn't answer crap. I didn't know how to look up. And she even had the code. She had the UPC code, the company code for this item and everything. And I couldn't even look it up. And that was terrible because damn well she's got customers sitting right there. And she said it was showing in our inventory. And I can't tell her, no. Because I don't know. I can't, I don't see other stores' inventory. They don't show me how to do that. Can't see our own. So, I have to write down all this information. I would have asked her for her login. Yeah. Hey, well, will you walk me through it, man? And I'll pull it up right here and tell you. Because they actually do. They have it listed. We have apparently 3 different storages now. I found out today. I was told 2. And I've been in one. And it's nasty. Dear God, it's on the mall property. God, the ceiling has water leaking through it, okay? Really? From the upper levels. It is so bad. And all those clothes just smell terrible. But yeah. I mean, they got them stacked up. They're not even in plastic containers, nothing. They are just stacked up in open air and there's water draining. And it reeks like an old boat. But yeah, so you're probably wondering why I'm up so late doing this, but I don't work tomorrow. Yeah, it is. It's really foul. I mean, that stuff reeks. And I don't have real good sense of smell at all. Like virtually none. I can taste it through my mouth. It's pretty bad. That's one reason why I don't like pot, because it tastes like I'm eating doo-doo. Okay, when that term eat poop, it's very literal because that's what it's like for me. No offense to those weed smokers, that's your own thing, but I hate it. It's terrible. But anyway, so yeah, it's just unreal. But I can't wait. Because, and especially if you went to go look at that graph. Okay, if you went to go look at that graph and the store just never moved all day, he knows he's in hot water if that's all the sales he made. He's in seriously hot water. And you know, it's funny because he had gone in there, and I'm trying to think if it was after that sucker crashed. Let me think. Man, I'm not sure if it was before or after that computer crashed, that register. Uh, he was actually in the computer talking about the daily sales rate or something. Okay, now that one we can pull up. We don't have to be online to get to it. We have this thing, and it's what you should be selling for that day. And what it usually is last year's sales figure for that day, and plus about 22%. And then that's what you should be selling today for it to be a profitable store. You're supposed to beat last year's sale by about 22%. And he was mumbling some damn number. And I said, 900. I said, today should probably be about 1,300. And he goes, no, 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 no. He says it was 900 or something. And I said, no. I said, you have to add 22%. And so you're going to figure around 1,600 something. Around there. And he goes, oh, yeah, like 1,900. I said, that's a good number too. But that's the way it's done because it shows profitability. And he just kind of looked at me. I mean, this guy's got to be a bozo. That's in any business. It's not in mercantile and retail mercantile and for the schmata business. It's for anything. If you're selling hot dogs, if you're selling Walmart, if you're selling Dollar Tree, if you're selling McDonald's, your sales should be increasing every year by around that percentage. It's just a known fact. To me, as long as I can beat last year's figures, that's all I'm happy about. If it's $1 over, I'm a happy camper because we were hit by that pandemic. It's really done some weird stuff to the economy. The economy is not right, and it's going to take probably several years to straighten it back out. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a true story. That's why these corporates, like, you'll go, God, I got to beat that number today? Well, because they're jacking it up, and some of them will jack it up more than that. You know, they'll go 30, 40%. It's like you've lost your mind. And if you don't make quota, they're cussing you out. That's how a manager can get fired real quick, if that quota is not being made. So I will bet you he was peeing his pants because the store went under at 11 o'clock in the morning by the graph figures that are on the internet, on the interlinked system for the cash registers because it didn't record poop all the way to closing because it was still offline. The last I was on the register like last, pretty much. I think he did 2 sales after that, but like to closing. Okay, yeah, because he took off to go do some other crap for a minute, you know, and he was talking to people, and so yeah. Oh, and by the way, let me tell you about the schedule today. So I copied that schedule this morning as soon as I came in, because obviously that's what he was jacking with, and let me stand outside and wait. Because he was standing there over that computer, right by the window. When I saw him peek around, and he still didn't come to the door, I literally saw him peek around looking out the door. Okay? So, when I hit the Xerox and I folded that sucker up and put it away, I looked at it when I got off work and compared it to the other schedules. Now, I've got like 5 copies of this schedule in like 3 days, okay? I keep Xeroxing it to see what he's doing. Because you want to talk about an attention span and not following through? This sucker, he will play and play and play. I have never seen anything like it in my life. My God, how hard is it to get a schedule complete? I don't care. It's 4 weeks ahead. because he just about duplicates everything that he puts on there. So I've got that first week is like 40. The next week drops to 32 or 36 or something like that. When the girl told me it was going to be 20 and 25 because she's full of crap, or she said it something to him and he changed his mind and jumped it up a hair and was feeling guilty, maybe. That's also a possibility. But it still had the 3 days off. Okay. Now, the next week is get this one. Talk about a joker who can't add and hates overtime and threatened me already when I had 1 hour overtime from the week before and told me I was to keep track of my hours. Hey, this dude's a manager. He should be calling up and going, man, you better hope Red clocked out because it's all on you. Um, uh, but yeah, and so he's got 46 hours on that next week, and it's still on there. It's been on there 3 days. I swear to God. And there's no way in hell he would have me scheduled for 46 hours. So he's going to have a heart attack stroke when he puts on payroll from my payroll on this one for New Year's Eve because I was 4 or 5 hours overtime, and he's going to have a complete and total stroke over that. And and that was authorized by his little assistant manager. She put her hands over the computer, wouldn't let me clock out. I swear to God. And, but yeah, so and then the next week, he had me not even on the schedule. I was suddenly removed. I was on there one day and then pulled my name off, but he didn't make a schedule for me. It was just, that's what he did. And then he added those 2 people on there, right? And I was pissed off about that. This sucker hired 2 people behind me and starts whacking on my hours. When I had first call anyway. That's how it works. Last man on the totem pole. I got moved up when my 2 other coworkers gone. And especially when I'm the only person flying. It's not management. I rule. I'm king of the heap. You see what I'm saying? That's the way it's done. It's been done like that for many, many, many years. So anyway, I wanted to see what it's going to do. Do you know? When I looked at that schedule tonight, he's got like 4 or 5 weeks completed on it and put my name back on that one and one after it. Most seniority among your people there. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I'm older than all those jokers. And I shouldn't say that, but I am. But as far as, employees go, there are no more employees. So I'm the only one left. And because the guy's gone and the girl's gone, so I'm it. They were both keyed managers. Okay, keyed. It's what they call third key. And when in your form of management. So if there's emergency, a fire, the alarm goes off, whatever, they could call you and you're supposed to go unlock the door. That's why they call you third key. You have a responsibility to the store to do these things. So if the manager doesn't feel like going down at 3 in the morning because the shipment came in for some stupid reason instead of during daylight hours, they can call you and wake you up and go, hey, can you go down there and open the store? The manager gets a call from police department, fire department, and say, we need access to your store. Manager can call you up and say, hey, you need to go down there and meet the sheriff, or you need to go meet the fire department because the place is burning down, or somebody's trying to break in, or the alarm's going off. So they call you because they don't feel like going. That's exactly what third key is. It doesn't really mean you're so much a manager. It just means you're holding the key to their store and they're trusting you. So that's all it is. And it's like you're the babysitter because every time they get a chance, they're going to call and make you do it. Even if they live 5 minutes away, they're not going to put their shoes on to go down there. They just just as soon call you and say, go down there and do it. That's all it is. But yeah, they were keyed. I'm not keyed. So I can't close by myself. And I can't work by myself because I can't do all the procedures on the cash register. Um, I mean, I know that. I don't know if it's come to reality to my management or not, because, again, you know, but yeah, when I brought up that girl told me, okay, you do this, you do that, and an hour later, okay, now you do the displays, and I hadn't even finished. And he's like, I don't care about all that or what she said. I said, well, I've tried to tell you twice in the last 15 minutes and you wouldn't listen to me. The point is, this is my management, and my manager was directing me. And if you're accusing me of not following through, then let me finish the first task. But, when I'm asked to do something, I just do it. And my manager was not you, it was that girl. And at first she told me to sweep and then mop all the floors of the store, 4,900 square feet, I would say. I'm just guessing. And then, a couple hours later said, okay, now I need you to clean all the displays in the whole store. And so I did. And yes, the first job did not get finished. That's right. And then she hit me with a third job. When I was just finishing up a display, she turned around and had some other job for me to do. And what did I do? I did it. And did I ever finish sweeping the floors and mopping? No. No. No, no, no. I was done. It's enough chores for me. But yeah, so it was pretty crappy today. So I imagine corporate will probably very seriously call me tomorrow. All they have is my number and that I'm an employee of that company. I didn't want to alert them or anything because they might call him and talk some paper. I wanted to talk to them first because I was totally through. But he restored my hours for that other week after and put my name on there because he threatened me yesterday and said, you aren't going to last long enough to stay in our employee housing. So he totally balls out threatened me yesterday. Don't even think I'm planning on it. Don't even think I'm planning on making you a third key. I don't like people that their word is no good. Because it was like everything this guy told me, it's like none of it's any good. And the worst part is the pay. Oh my God. I don't think I worked for minimum wage since I was like 15 and a half. And that didn't last long because I went out, I got fake ID, and I freaking got lots of education and was going to UCLA at night and finishing high school and was living on my own. Let me tell you what. I got fake ID and I worked for top of the line retailers in clothing. Fancy names, okay? And I get jobs anywhere. Yep. And I get adult pay. Oh yeah, isn't it just puke? Oh my God. It's so bad. Ugh. It's no kind of money. None. But I did go to the new sporting goods store that opened and talked to him last night. And he was at the front door of the main manager. I finally got to talk to him just on pure accident. I mean, I was heading over for that reason, hoping to catch them before they closed. And they were all over the town trying to hire people real high wage. Opening wage $15 for anything. Yeah, $15 opening wage. And I didn't know that they were hiring that quick. I mean, they got that store just built really fast, but they were still stocking it as far as I knew. They actually had it already stocked up, and they were hiring people. They were going to all the businesses right next to them and going, look, if you want to come to work, we'll pay you $15 an hour. And people were like, what? $15 an hour beginning wage for the first job. All those other jobs are all different kinds of pay. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. And I was like, 15 is a good start. I can do that. You know? Mm-hmm. That means you get about $25 an hour being a assistant manager. That's right. That's right. Yep. So I um yeah, I don't dig the freaking minimum wage crap. Cause see, I have to work like 7 days and nights just to freaking do anything at all. Period. To cover my bills, the storages, my car insurance, eat and gas, and my gym membership, and then I have to save money to get a place to live. That's right. Or go in a hotel by the week, which are really cheap right now before spring break comes. And we're talking like February, April, really legitimately April. Oh yeah, well you know what that manager told me last night? Just talking to him at the front door, and he didn't have to talk to me at all. He was really nice. And I told him, a real short, balls out description of what's going on at my other job, what I was hired for, and what's going on. In like a 3 minute description, okay? Boom, 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 right? And he looks at me and he says, I had to, cut people's hours down because it's slow, right now, this week. Now you have to bear in mind, this company came in from like another state, okay? So they don't know this area, they just know that, there's money here and tourism's very good. So he's like, I was really sad because, I had to, cut some people's hours back, this week. And we'll have to do it this next week, I think. And he said, but if you will please go online and do an application with us, I would love to have you come work for me as a manager. This is a 12-minute total conversation when he's closing a store waiting on his employees to come out. That's right. Uh-huh. Yeah, see, I sell myself well. I have good presentation, I'm down to earth, I'm honest, and I'm to the point, So, facts are the facts. And he was impressed with it. He said, I'd take you in a heartbeat. He said, please go on the website and do an application. I will hire you, but it's going to be like 4 weeks before I can do that. Because we just won't have the business. Well, he doesn't know that it's coming like in the next couple weeks. It starts beginning in the next couple weeks. So people have to be prepared. They have to have enough employees because I'm going to tell you, it will be such a zoo, and it will keep building and building and building. That's the way it is here, and it goes all the way through like August and September. And it's the most fierce about April and May. It is absolutely fierce. It is just like somebody set a bomb off in all the other states and they all came here. It is hard to believe the amount of people. And then we get traffic that's like California. It's really, really, really bad. Yeah. So that made me feel really good last night. Because I'm like, man, I gotta start like looking for another job. Because I'm at the point where I could be really a jerk, especially, being the only employee, right? I could really fix this guy. If I'd have walked out yesterday, his crap would have been screwed up. Okay. But guess what? So I was saying, about that schedule and all that. Do you know that there's another new name on the schedule? So that joker has hired 3 people in the last 24 hours behind me. That's right, behind me. Now, There is one good thing about that, though, that I won't have to haul all that garbage inside and out of that store, all those racks and all that crap every day at opening and closing. That would be a really good thing. And I think one of them's a guy, or two of them might be guys. Okay, yeah. And hopefully I'm not asked to sweep and mop and do toilets and all that other crap. He had that whole list today of all maintenance crap. I'm not the maintenance person. There's something wrong with you. Yeah. He's like labeling tables and walls and stuff with little stuff he printed out on the computer. 3 new people. Oh, yeah. 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 When my assistant manager says, oh, our sales aren't strong enough to accommodate the hours. That's why you got 2025. Oh, nanny, hoo. But yeah, that's the only good thing about it is having, other workers that will hopefully help. That complaint that I made to corporate on that so-called anonymous thing. We want to make sure that everybody's so happy working for our company. Please fill out this questionnaire. And I only turned in about 90% of the problems because as soon as that 90% is done, it'll probably pull the other 10%, and I don't need to even mention it. And so, because it was pounds full of negativity, I'm going to tell you. It wasn't anything good. It was factual, to the point, and it's ongoing. But if there was more bodies in there, hopefully, they would maybe do all this bull crap. And like I had made the statement in that questionnaire thing, that all the employees that are working that shift should be helping to move that stuff in and out morning and night. All those racks and all that other junk. Okay? Yeah. They should all be helping. Not just one person does it. Because see, when I first started, my coworkers, because the managers were never around, they were gone. That guy manager only stayed a couple hours every morning. He left a backpack over his shoulder, and I said, boy, what a life. And he's like, yeah. I mean, every day he was leaving like that. It was like, hire me as a manager. I'll come work 2 hours every morning and take 2 or 3 days off a week. Oh my God. Yeah, so, these people that I worked with, they were like, okay, you take the stuff out. Okay, you bring it in. You do this, you do that. And they would just stand behind the register. Yeah. Yep. So, I mean, to me, it'd have been really cool to walk out on his butt with only me there, and then all he has is assistant manager and him, and they got to work it all period by themselves. And he'd be doing all his weird cleanups every day and all that crap. It's the same crap every day, like they're coming tomorrow or they're coming in an hour. Why weren't they doing it before I started there? It's a freaking toilet bowl mess. It's like, you're such a liar. Because if anybody says anything to me and they appear in that store, any of those people that are doing that, and they go, wow, the store's really clean, I'll be the first one to say, yeah, because I've been cleaning it. Because they make me do it every day. Because it was nasty. I'll be the first one to tell. Watch me. Yep. And I dare my boss to get pissed off about that. Come to me and tell me about it. Because let me tell you what I'm going to tell you. You're wrong. I mean, it's weak. Weak management. Oh my God. They pay people for doing absolutely nothing. Just like the girl worked there 2 years to play on the phone on live FaceTime, from opening to closing. Never turn that phone off. Always carry it around with her. Even lay it on the counter when she's checking people out and talking to dude. Okay? And wearing an earbud too. That's bull crap. If I was the owner and walked in, I would blow a head gasket. If my employee was doing that. Yeah. And the guy told me that for 2 years she's worked there as a key, and every day is like that. And it's like, whoa. And they would never say anything. They'd look around for her. They'd see her. You'd find her hiding in the dressing room, wherever, sitting on the main floor, whatever. And they would just like stand there for a second and then walk away. They wouldn't even approach her or anything. They wouldn't tell her nothing. And it's like, what a bunch of wusses. They're managers. Tell her, turn the phone off or go home. That's how it goes. Because guess what? The company can't pay people to play on the phone. Do that on your own time. I don't even bring my phone. I don't bring my phone. I don't want to. I'm paid by the minute. I'm paid by the second. I'm paid if I go pee-pee. They pay me to go to the bathroom. That's right. I'm on company time. I don't clock out to go to the bathroom. You know? If I go pee 10 times a day, I get paid for that. That's right. If I wash my hands 3 times a day, I'm still paid for that. Yep. So, my phone is my personal business and has nothing to do with that business. I can do that on my lunch break. I can do that, after work, before work. I don't need to be bothered with it. I'm at work. I totally devote my time. I tell them that up front. I don't bring any phone. You won't find me playing on the phone. Yep. That's just me. And when the day I went down there and met with him and talked with him a couple hours in the store there, when he hired me, I said, "You guys have a lot of thing with these younger people playing on the phone all the time at work and stuff." He goes, "Yep, it's horrible." And I said, "So what do you do about it?" And he said, "Well, they come to work every day." And really, that's exactly what it is. That's all he figures. Well, they show up at work. Well, the problem is they're not doing any work. Their body that clocked in and clocked out, they are doing absolutely nothing. Yeah. So, I don't know. But you guys, I love you. And it's been a slice of heaven. And thanks for being there. And if you have any suggestions or anything, put them in the comment thing below. Any advice, put it in the comment thing below. Tell me what you really think and what you think I should do. Okay? I love you so much. Be kind to a stranger, and I will see you in the next one. Love you.